Hello, everyone. Welcome back. This is Season 2, Episode 1 of Eden Star. I'm Enigmius, and today we're diving back in. The new map has been released very recently in a development build just the last several days. I got my hands on it, and just now I'm having an opportunity to sit down and show you guys a little bit of what we can find there compared to what we had in the first season, the first run of episodes that we did. There's quite a lot of differences, so there's not a lot of point of sitting here on this screen talking about them when we can just kind of dive into the game and take a look. We can now choose between these four areas. And I tend to be partial to the northern reach, not because I've tried the other three and I have a preference, just because this is the one that I've tried in the last couple games that I've started just messing around to see what we've got. So here we are in the whole new map. We've got trees and we've got a lot of foliage. There's some water down there. Yes, that's water. And I have actually fallen in the water unintentionally, and I can't say that I would duplicate that until I was maybe a little bit better equipped, because it went kind of crazy on me. So that's my way of saying we're going to give it a little while to make sure that it's stable before we try again. So the one thing that you'll notice is there was no crash landing in an escape pod. There's no escape pods to be found. And there's a lot more animals running around. You'll probably see them scooting around all over the place. So, to get started, we need protonite, which we get from trees, and we're going to go for kennel, because that's probably one of the best things that we can start with, and we've got these deposits right here that we can gather from. The thing that you might notice is, especially when gathering minerals, there's distribution of minerals to be had in a given deposit. It's not just a kennel deposit that gives you kennel. It's a green deposit that gives you primarily kennel and some other things as well, usually in smaller measure, which is kind of good to know, because it makes it possible for you to pick up some of the maybe not necessarily easier to get to minerals in smaller quantities, and you can use them to make stuff that you want that mineral for. It's also a little bit more interesting, I think. So we've still got our Mata tool and all these goodies that we use to manipulate our environment. In this case, we're using it to dissolve trees and take everything that they've got. Something else to keep in mind is that hunger and thirst are now things that we need to be mindful of, because we can starve to death, we can die of thirst, I would assume, and it's generally one way to motivate you to kind of be gathering all the time. We can get various different kinds of food from various different kinds of situations, and it doesn't seem like it's too heavy of a burden right now. It seems actually pretty reasonable to at least maintain moderate fullness and hydration levels. But realistically speaking, this is the game that really loves to put you in a bad spot and keep you there. So we're going to do our best to survive, I guess, is what we could say. And if we don't survive, then we'll try again. But the idea here with this series, just like the last one, is having seen certain things a certain number of times, you don't necessarily want to watch them again. So we aren't going to be doing 15-minute episode every week that features 12 minutes of gathering from kennel deposits, because that's no fun. You're seeing it now. It's pretty quick and easy to gather from all those different sources so far. And I should point out, as I'm doing this, that we don't have the assortment of weapons that we had to start off in the previous version of the game that we were playing. We have the Mata tool, we have the baton. You can barely even see it in my hands. There we go. Oh, it extends out from our forearm, and we can jab things and we can swing it at things and generally just kind of do our best to defend ourselves. It seems to be pretty beefy. The things that I've hit with it didn't really survive for very long, but at the same time it is also a melee weapon, which means if you're using it on something, chances are it's chewing on you at the same time, and we have to be very careful about that, because we don't have enough of us to share it around and feed the local fauna and still be able to do our jobs. So we're going to keep an eye on that. I've given it a little bit... Oh, here's one of the guys. Get away, dog. This is still one of my favorite features in the game, is the ability to pick things up and fling them, especially hostile things that want to do horrible things to me. So that was one good way to get rid of that dog, was to just toss him in the air and let gravity do the work. But at the same time, now I kind of forget exactly where I was. Not that it matters. As far as I know, trees and things respawn from day to day. So whatever we gather from today, if we come back here tomorrow, it should be back, unless they've changed that. They may have changed that as well. I just really need enough materials to kind of get started building a base so that we have the necessary facilities to start upgrading some of our kit, so we can actually get a pistol and maybe a rifle of some kind that we built with our own two hands out of minerals that we gathered in this crazy place. Pharrus 7, I think, is the name. So I've given a little bit of thought to where I want to put my base, and I found a spot that seems like it might be a good place to start. I'm fond of putting bases on cliff sides to make it a little bit easier to protect them from ground-based enemies. That seemed to work well for me in the past. Again, we're making assumptions based on what used to be and hoping that it will still be the same, but the only way to really find out is to try and see what happens. So one of the things that I learned is that you can gather from plants quite a lot now. Vesicles. Vesicles are fluid-filled objects that you can use to restore hydration, which is kind of neat, because as you can see, there's not a whole lot of effort going into the gathering of these vesicles. In fact, that plant just respawned right in front of me. So it's focusing on the gathering aspect of things. If you don't like to gather, there are certain mechanics in this game that may be a bit troubling. But, oh, I see the red. Where you at, dog? Way the hell up there. Oh, there's another one. You. I can't juggle 3 dogs at a time. This is the one that we threw already. He's going that way. Where's the other guy? There he is. Back up in the air for you. No, we couldn't blast him with our hand thingy. I don't even know what that is. The force thing. It can be used to push things around and stuff. Not that we're gonna find too many uses for that, I don't think. You never know. Try and keep an open mind. And what have we got here? Nothing that's going to come apart. And are we safe to look at our inventory? That's one question. We've got 50 bridgemanite, 56 kennel, 24 protonite, and I think we need 25. And then we should be okay. So we're just going to take down this tree. Among the other things that I love about this game is the logging of trees, and how you basically just take out a chunk from the bottom and it falls down and you take out another chunk, and if you got the upgrades, I think, on this guy, you should be able to do it fast enough that the tree just basically falls down vertically and you just take out the bottom sections until it's gone, which is kind of an interesting way of logging. You don't see that too often. We'll do this one last guy here. There's a strange looking alien dinosaur mouse with no fur. I think that's one of the guys from the previous version, but I don't remember their name. They seem to be better animated by now. They just kind of scoot around. It could just be that they're running through the foliage. This guy we remember. Oh, that was very satisfying. Oh, and I'm pressing F trying to pick things up, because I've been playing other games where you press F to try and pick things up. So now we've got enough to get started, even if only barely. We're going to kind of try and keep an eye out for who is where and what. And I'm heading southwest. I don't think I necessarily want to be going southwest, but I see that mountain and I think that's a good place to start building a base. However, north, I think, is where we want to be going, because that would be the edge of the world, so to speak, which means we don't have to worry about things coming from the north towards our base, because the only, well, I guess flying things maybe, but definitely not things from the ground. I'm gonna push our way up here. Now, I was messing around earlier, as I mentioned, and I found an abandoned base. Abandoned in the sense that there were no people occupying it, but the missile turret on top didn't agree with me about its status as an abandoned structure. This is just savage. There's only so many ways you could justify treating a dog that way. Fortunately, they're hostile, so that makes it a little bit easier to justify. And how are we looking for all those crazy consumable things? Not bad. Stamina is kind of dropping a little bit. That's to be expected because we are running around. We might actually get a glimpse. Oh, bad news right there. We don't want to be messing around with any hives right now. Again, on account of the fact that we don't have any guns. So we're just going to skirt around it and try and give it plenty of space. They're these strange little insect things, and by little I mean they're about the size of a pony. And I find them absolutely adorable because they just skitter around. They're not hostile. At some point, I'm going to have to kill one or more of them just to see what they drop. But they're just the coolest little guys. And then we've got the giants over there. You can see in the crosshairs. They kind of get hung up on big rocks, but for the most part, they're just, you know, hanging out, doing their thing. And again, non-hostile as far as I can tell. This poor puppy. We all know what he was going to do if he had got the jump on me, so to hell with him. We'll go around here, and look, see right there, there's a structure that we'll have to search because it's got goodies in it of some kind that will help us a little bit at the very least to get started and established and equipped. So that's something we can do, but again, just like the hives, I don't want to be getting too close. I don't want to push my luck in that regard, so we're going to keep our distance. The one that I found previously, I was able to get inside and kind of look around, and there was a few containers that had some things in it, and then on my way out, whilst running away, the rocket turret made quick work of me because I was being kind of an idiot, just running in a straight line. But needless to say, that was sort of the end of me. It was a good learning experience, but not a good example of what one could, should, or would do under ideal circumstances. Is that a man-made wall down there? It sure looks like it. There's a dog, and I want to be aware of what that dog is doing so that it doesn't end up eating me. And clear out some of this. And trying to remember, pretty sure there's a structural integrity thing to this game. I seem to remember it, and it's based around the foundations that you place and what you can build on top of things being a function of what kind of foundations you have. So we're going to keep that in mind, and I think to make things kind of simple, we're going to keep pushing north. And as soon as we find something that vaguely resembles a plateau, such as this, I'm not even sure what that is up there. It looks almost like splinter mites in stasis, but I don't remember if there's a button that we can press to zoom in and get a better look. You'll notice that we haven't encountered any splinter mites or any of the aliens with glowing red body parts yet, but that'll change come nighttime. And over here, I think, might be a half-decent place to start. We've got plenty of forest over that way for when we need more protonite. We've got all kinds of stuff down here to explore and gather from. And we're close to some things that we wanted to be taking a look at for the sake of, you know, gathering things and expanding our capacity to do interesting things. You can also get seeds from these, and I'm not sure if you can plant them at some point, but I know apparently you can eat them. And again, all the plants and all the things. So if we go like this, you can see we're doing all right for hydration. Hunger, we could be doing a better job. So we can eat some of this meat that we got from the dogs that we were tossing around. We just click on consume, and then we'll consume some more, and a little bit more, and then some more. And the last one, what do we have here? Small bladder-like plant filled with fluid. Grass seeds, nutritious but very dry. I'm guessing, since most of us would not be all that interested in planting grass inside our houses, that it's basically just for food. Juicy pulp. Juicy not only satisfies hunger but also quenches a bit of thirst. I like these. The idea of these is a little bit of everything in one go. So, having goofed around enough with that, let's try to get ourselves an Eden kit and build it out of... Oops. Not that. There it is. Kennel. And that would be our very first Eden kit on the new map in the new world. Squared away. And now we can sort of, hopefully, figure out what to do with... Oh, there we go. Defenses, modifications, foundations. That's what we want to do. And foundations... I gotta get used to the buttons here. There we go. Kennel foundations. I'm sure we could do a lot worse. And we could make foundations made out of wood. That would be just the thing to get us up and running in style. So, and we're out of kennel already, but we do have our first Eden kit, which provides us with the shield. The shields are a lot smaller this time around. Apparently it's because you can put more Eden kits within a certain area and expand the reach of the shield that way. But again, I haven't experienced it, so I'm just kind of regurgitating what I recall seeing from previous patch notes. And given that we don't have anything else with which to build, we're going to leave our base such that it is, and we're going to head on down and we're going to see what we can find in this area to help us expand it a bit. This is a pretty desolate area when you think about it. We're going to turn off build mode. Last thing you want to do is get chewed up by some bad guy because you were stuck in build mode and you kept trying to build a foundation on something instead of flinging it in the air or whatever you were going to do to try and kill it. And it's like there's some sort of hot springs over here. I'm just going to scoot over and take a look. As you can see, it's actually nighttime now, and the clock is ticking down. We've got 4 minutes left in the nighttime segment. I kind of appreciate a game that isn't all about the endless night and the complete black environment after everything that we've been seeing in other games lately. Whoa, I don't even know what that was, but it flung me. I bounced off something, and I'm glad that the water was working this time, because we got a very brief glimpse at life in the water, and we survived, which is kind of the best that we can hope for, I guess, in this situation. I see glowing red things, and it always makes me nervous until I get closer and I realize that it's just a tree. But we do have to be careful, because guys like this it just never gets old. But we can't expect him to follow us, I think, for a certain length of time now. Oh, something else that I should be quite aware of and cautious about is abandoning my base at night. Because... Oh wait, this isn't mine. Oh boy. That's not mine at all. Where's mine? Maybe mine is the one over there. And this is the one that just tried to kill me. Very interesting. Our stamina is perpetually low. Alright, we found our base. Such that it is. It's nothing like the one that just about killed us. And in the next episode, we're going to gather a few more things, and we're going to try to expand our base. It would be nice to get some walls around our inn kit and maybe a roof over it. And then we'll take a look at the things that we need to be making in order to make more stuff. So we start with a certain amount of things we can make, and we have to make other things to make other things. And if you want to be notified when we add new videos in this series and others, you can always subscribe to my channel or follow me on social media. Links for social media are always in the information section below the video. Feel free to leave your comments and feedback. Thanks for watching, guys, and take care.